another guest with us, another Daniel, who I'm inviting to join me on stage now. Daniel was a winner in the Surreal World Assets 1 buildathon. He won the IPFi Track. And he's here to talk to us a bit about the project that he built, which was Ontology Finance. Some of you may remember him from the demo day. For now, Daniel domination, but we will have a resurgence of non-Daniels towards the end of the event. But Daniel, our second Daniel, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'll hand over the stage to you, and you can introduce us to Ontology Finance.
All right, can everyone see this?
Yep, we can see your slide deck.
All right, great. So hello everyone, my name is Daniel. And for the IPFi track at the first edition of Surreal World Assets, I built Ontology, which was this AI-enabled like yield optimization and aggregation protocol, but specifically for royalties on Story Protocol. The sort of like problem I wanted to tackle was that there are potentially billions in creator royalties that are sort of sitting idle in these royalty vaults once like royalties get routed to like specific creators in IP. And story native creators who like may or may not be technical could sort of like miss out on probably millions in like aggregate millions in potential yield. I think there are like so many opportunities in DeFi that to earn yield that are honestly kind of technically complicated and also very hands-on that I kind of wanted to bring to anyone who was kind of uploading their IP onto Story's portal and earning royalties through that user interface. So this is why I built Ontology. I did make some updates since the buildathon. So I think at the time I had built sort of my own UI, and I sort of had my own like vault that I would have users deposit into. Now, like it's not quite demo ready, but it will be demo ready very soon. Users can download a Chrome extension and basically deploy royalties to yield-bearing strategies directly from Story's UI. Chrome extensions are lots of different options for like injecting UIs into like an existing page. We also have, this is something that like existed at the time, but definitely I've been building out a lot more, custom AI agents that are scanning the market, scanning basically various lending protocols for optimal yield opportunities as the APR sort of like changes dynamically. And also like automatic rebalancing. We have like an autonomous execution layer basically that enables autonomous rebalancing, and we abstract all of that complexity away from the end user just simply to like deliver the highest like risk adjusted APR possible. So we have two strategies live. This was sort of what I had kind of at the time of like winning the buildathon. So far, we've integrated we've integrated far more and across like more chains. We also like enable cross-chain yield. You can like your yield is not limited to like the lending protocols and the like DeFi that's available on Story. You can deploy your IP like via various like bridging and also just other kinds of like cross-chain interoperability solutions to like a number of like whitelisted strategies cross-chain. And we also like very much put security first, and also like part of the reason I transitioned away from like my own UI and like wanted to keep as much of the user experience on Story's own UI as possible, and also kind of the reason I transitioned away from like deploying my own ERC-4626 vaults, which would like come with like these huge trust assumptions. Like that, like I guess like users would sort of just like have to trust that I am not like a malicious actor. And I didn't want to like, I didn't want for users to like have to do that. And so like, I guess I can get a little bit more into sort of like the other sort of infrastructure transitions I've made since the buildathon. But the point is that only whitelisted strategies undergo execution. Something else was that I wanted to add a little bit more to IPFi. I think there are a lot of really cool projects in the ecosystem, but um, to some extent they were like a little bit siloed. I guess like the one lending protocol that I know of on Story, um, Unleash, I think it was. I mean, like with all due respect, like it was kind of the pools were a little bit low liquidity compared to like the other sort of lending protocol options that exist on like more high volume chains like Ethereum or Base or Solana. And I also kind of wanted to again like abstract away all of the like technical complexity that comes with yield farming, like whether on a lending protocol or a staking protocol. And I also kind of wanted the option to like abstract away the complexity of like having to bridge to another chain, having to like swap out your IP for like some kind of stable coin. I guess like the option that I enable right now is like USDC. But like all of that, it's pretty thorny UX, like as from like coming from someone who like has like had to deal with like wallets and bridges and like various swap interfaces and all of that. It's just kind of like annoying. So I kind of wanted to again like abstract away like as much of that complexity as possible, which is why like I even moved away from like having my own UI. It's like everything should sort of happen from the portal, and it should be like as easy as possible. So again, like every single update that I've made isn't like quite demo ready. I will like be posting on my Twitter, once it is up on like the web store. But this is sort of what the old UI used to look like. We would have like a vault where users could just deploy their IP from the royalty vault into like my ERC 4626 compliant vault. And then that would be, and then they would receive basically vault shares in return. And then they could like claim like those vault shares for whatever funds that they had in the vault. And the funds would basically be deployed to these yield bearing strategies, which at the time was like the USDC market on USDC Ethereum market on Aave, and like whatever the corresponding one was on Compound as well. We have since expanded to a few other chains, including Base and Unichain, as well as a few other lending protocols, including Morpho and Euler. But in any case, this is sort of what the old UI used to look like. So I guess I can get into a little bit more detail about what's new. I don't know how much time I have left, but so basically since the buildathon, like I basically wanted to get rid of like as many trust assumptions as possible. I think when I first built out this project, I was like fairly new to crypto. So like I wasn't like super familiar with all of the tech that was available to me, and also sort of like the ethos of like verifiability and trustlessness that is sort of supposed to like underlie and like motivate all of the technology. So I guess since then I've been working on like making like all of the like AI enabled components of the product like as verifiable and as transparent as possible. I think there are a lot of cool projects working at the intersection of crypto and AI that like made it really easy to do this. For example, I'm on the mainnet alpha for Eigencompute and eigenAI, which basically lets me one like have deterministic and verifiable AI inference, which is like really helpful and like almost I would think table stakes when you're dealing with like other people's money. And then also Giza, which I think is one of the leading sort of AI like yield optimization aggregation projects in the space, open source their agent framework. And so I was kind of poking around on that and using that sort of to like edit and like better inform my approach. And again, I've since like expanded. There are now like more like whitelisted and risk adjusted strategies that users can opt into, like apart from Aave and Compound, Euler, Morpho, Fluid. Now, the users don't just have to use Ethereum. They can also deploy the strategies on Base, Unichain. Most recently, I think I'm working on a Plasma integration as well. And also, like, another update that I had just for like purely for better UX was like I transitioned sort of away from the dBridge integration I'd been working with. dBridge was like a bounty sponsor for the hackathon. But I thought sort of Stargate and Layer Zero had sort of a better or enabled like sort of better UX and also like just faster bridging, also like a somewhat like better developer experience, at least for me. And Stargate is also like a very close partner of Stories. I think there was like a post over the summer from Stargate about like Stargate's bridge like having processed like I would say I think $1 billion in volume from to and from Story, which I thought was like a huge milestone. And so I thought it was a pretty appropriate integration here. And again, I made a lot of sort of like design changes, and we're pending release as a Chrome extension in order to, again, like make the user experience like as seamless as possible. I want to like inject this feature into Stories portal UI and make it like seem as native and as seamless as possible. And I think that's like really important, again, for some of the trust assumptions that users have to make when they're using this. Like it doesn't really make sense for them to have to trust some student developers front end and some student developers like Vault when we can leverage all of this battle tested and like well audited infrastructure that exists to enable like cross-chain DeFi. In any case, that's sort of my pitch for like automated and invisible yield optimization of royalties on Story Protocol. Again, it's just something kind of as simple as like putting your money to work like in TradFi. Like you shouldn't just let your money ever sit idle. You should always sort of be putting it into some sort of investment strategy in order to like, it's just like kind of prudent investing to have your money make more money. And I think this should apply to creator royalties as well. So in any case, this was Ontology. My name is Daniel. And thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, Daniel, for joining us and presenting. And it's really cool to see what's changed since we last saw you at in a Surreal World Assets event at the demo day. So really cool to have you back, and thank you for coming and presenting.